Chosen vessels, what's the deal? It's Druuill. Let's get into it. Getting underneath your skin is fun for them. If they're unable to do it, they'll get bored and leave you be. All right. People tend to want to get under your skin. You seem a lot cooler. You seem a lot more relaxed. You're a tranquil, peaceful person. And it's a game for people to play with you, right? People who play games with you, it's a game for them to play with you. So they get bored, and the reason why they are bothering you in the first place is because of boredom. All right, there's levels to those who want to try to get underneath your skin. All right, some of them there's really no credit to give. All right, there's really no ill intent behind it as far as them just wanting to get underneath your skin. You have some people who are malicious with it, you know, and then you have people that just are bored and they're annoying and they have nothing else better to do. And they all have nothing else better to do. But all of this doesn't involve extreme cases like where people are narcissistic and sociopathic, or they want to try to see you lose out financially or some kind of way. Some people are just real a-holes, and they're not totally like bad people. It's just like you would prefer to not be around this person if you could. All right, so there's levels to people who want to bother you and get underneath your skin. Some of it is malicious, some of it is ill meaning, but then others it's just like this person just doesn't know any better, and even if they do, it wouldn't even make a difference, because what they're doing is they're not out to try to harm you in some kind of way. What they're doing is just, it's probably just who they are. It might just be their personality, but this person is still trying to bother you and get underneath your skin. Some people, they do this for fun. All right, it's funny to them, it's amusing to them, it's comical to them, it's hilarious to them. But if you're a serious person and you're not hip to, oh, this person is just messing with me, then it's going to be annoying and it's going to be troublesome, because you might be in a stage to where you take things serious. For whatever reason, people who take things serious, people love to play with them. And you might be about your business. You might be a little bit more serious than other people. Some people may call it being a square. Some people may call it being uptight. But if they are allowed to be who they are, then why aren't you allowed to be who you are? I never understood that. So they are just a playful kind of person, and you are just a serious kind of person. Why does everybody have to be the same? Everybody doesn't have to be the same. There's room for all kinds of people in this world. There's room for people who are serious. I mean, there's room for people who play around. There's room for people who are serious. And if they didn't play about certain things, then it wouldn't really be a need for you to get that serious. But they tend to play around because that's just who they are. And some of them aren't bad people. All right. Some of them aren't sadistic. All right. Some of them are not sadistic. They can't all be bad people. Some of them are really tough, terrible individuals, as far as like, man, this person is just acting like a, you know, acting like a piece of work. And it's like it's tough to be around them, as far as having to either work with people like this or live near people like this or go out and encounter someone like this. But everybody's going to be different. Nobody's going to be the same. It's just more or less that when you encounter people like this and it's not sadistic, and even though you would like them to change, they're allowed to be themselves and who they want to be. So remaining unbothered, even though people want to get underneath your skin, it's an individual thing. It's something that you have to do for yourself, because if people are able to pull your strings and press your buttons, then they're going to keep doing it. And if it's fun for them, you can't expect them to stop anytime soon. So this person may not be a narcissist, they may not be a demon, but what they're doing still isn't the best type of way to behave towards another person. And this is where it gets harmless, and it's really not that big of a deal as far as the person who is dealing with it, because it's not really going to be anything that could destroy you or tear you down. It's really just annoying, and it's really just like bothersome because the person's just being a pest. And depending on how you're feeling or the type of day you're having, you might not be in the mood for that. All right, you might be ready to haul off and wanna smack somebody and slap some sense into somebody. But it really is all up to how you choose to deal with it. You have to learn how to deal with how you feel when it comes to other people and how they act. So it's basically like, if someone's going to continue to behave a certain way, then you have to basically work your mind around them and their behavior to figure out the perfect equation for you to be unbothered and for you to not be annoyed or affected negatively by this person. So when people like to play games and you're a serious kind of person, just accept yourself for who you are, because what they're going to try to do is they're going to really try to make you feel like it's something wrong with you. All right. And and even though it's on a lower level, it's still annoying. And it's like it's a form of them patronizing you, and nobody wants to be patronized. All right. Nobody wants to be patronized. That's why you always hear people saying, "Don't you patronize me." All right. When people patronize you, it doesn't feel good. Those are those underlying low blows, those jabs. But it's really still nothing bad. It's like they're not really coming at you like that. It's just something that you wouldn't prefer. All right. So it's okay to have thick skin for these types of situations. All right. You need to develop thick skin, period. But for when people are playing around and it's not ill intent and it's just something that you would prefer not to have said or prefer not to hear, it's best to have thick skin. These are the types of situations where you don't pick fights with people, or you don't pick. This is where the situation where you like pick your battles wisely, choose your battles wisely, because this kind of situation right here, it's not that big of a deal. But these are the these are the types of things you have to be able to sort through mentally, because when you have people who deal with you viciously and they do have ill intent, it makes it hard for other people that may just be playing around, or a situation where it's really not that serious and you don't have to go in on a person or label them any kind of way. And really shouldn't be labeling anyone anything. But when people behave a certain way and they cause you to have to do research on it and look things up to see if you going crazy or not, then it is what it is. But usually in these types of situations, it's not that deep. It's just someone, and this is how they were raised. They play around a lot, but it's a way to play around and it's a way to not play around. All right. And there's a way to play around where you could joke around with people about stuff to where you really ain't coming at them that serious. But then there are certain people that just do certain things because it's not it's not what you do, it's how you do it in certain instances. And certain instances, just the way people do something, it's just like, yo, that was unnecessary. I understand what you were trying to do, but like too much of that, and I'm probably gonna have to just like chill by myself, not deal with you, keep my distance, because these things tend to annoy you or pester you or get on your nerves, and you don't want to look at anything more serious than it has to be when it's not. All right, not everything has to be so serious, but if you're a serious person, it's just your personality. You don't go try to change them. You don't try to change them. You don't try to turn them into anyone they're not. You don't even mind them playing around. It's just that you're not the type of person to be played with. So this is a situation to where some boundaries have to be set. You discuss this with this person, you talk to this person. They could be like, "Oh man, I was just playing," or "Oh man, you take it too serious." Sometimes people, even though they're joking around and they say they're just playing, they actually are, all right, because it's not that serious. But then you have situations where people say they're playing around, but they're making fun of you for something that you're not playing with at all. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. There are people who could play, like there are people who go to um concerts and get laughed at for their condition. You know, if you watch 85 South show, they have this thing where people go there who are handicapped or disabled, and they show them love. All right, they do it in the form of comedy. All right, so if somebody has a disability and they go to that show, all they're doing is using their comedy to try and help someone accept their situation. But it depends on the person. So in this particular situation, it depends on you and how you take things, and knowing that something is not that serious, and knowing that somebody is actually just trying to have some fun with you, and possibly even trying to help you as far as your condition. When it comes to comedians, comedians are geniuses, comedic geniuses, when it comes to helping people accept their condition. They clown or they joke or they make fun of it in a way to where it's not painful or hurtful for the person, but they're able to accept it and able to accept themselves, accept their condition, and love themselves for who they are, regardless of what they're going through. All right. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it in some cases. There's some cases, no matter what you do, how you do something, it's still jacked up and messed up and probably shouldn't be done. All right. So everything that is said always doesn't need a rebuttal, or always doesn't need you to be looking into it as deep, or for you to put on your thinking cap and decide whether this person is a narcissist or not. All right, every situation doesn't entail that, but still there are those that do. And always, just be aware of how things are being said, what things are being said, what's being done around you. If something is that serious to where it's like, whoa, I feel this person shouldn't have said that, always talk to people about things. All right, never just cut someone off, never just label someone something and cut them off. All right, all these videos where I talk about leaving and distancing and no contact, these are after ample tries of trying to endless I meant to say endless times and ample times of trying to, and how it affects you. Because if you continue to stay around certain people, then what they say will affect you in some kind of way, and you don't want what someone says to be bothering you all the time you're around this person. Because if what they say is bothering you, and what you said to them trying to work things out, or trying to get some type of understanding, it has no, it's like it has no effect, it's not helping you in any way, then that person is doing that on purpose. All right, if you try to talk to people about something and they don't want to change, it's usually because what they're saying, they're taking joy out of it. So there's a difference between when someone is actually saying something and playing with you, even though it might be something that you're like, really, you said that? But some people do joke, some people do play around, but it's not what you do, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. But there are some people that are doing things purposefully to try to get a reaction out of you, because it's like, you shouldn't be talking about certain things, you shouldn't be saying certain things when it comes to other people in certain situations, and they're no comedian, and if they can't make it so you can laugh at it or you can find it funny, then what they're doing, it might be a little underlying, it might have some negativity attached to it. You may not want to keep joking around with this person, because what they're saying could possibly end up making you mad. This is how people end up getting into arguments, fights, and you should have avoided this person to begin with, and separated yourself from them when you had noticed that, okay, this person is doing this on purpose to try to get a reaction, to try to get me upset. That's what no contact is for. That's what it's about. When people keep behaving in certain ways to where it becomes uncomfortable to be around them, you try to work things out, and this person you can't work anything out with them. Whatever you say to them, they're just going to continue to behave the same way. Usually if somebody's playing with you or joking around, when they're saying something, or when you're around them, if you could usually talk to them and work things out. But some cases you can't work things out with people because that's who they are, and that's what they want to be. That's the type of person they want to be to you, especially. So getting underneath your skin is fun for them. Some people, they have fun bothering others because, like I said, they're bored. They have nothing else to do. They're bored. And when people are bored and they don't have any way of using their mind for good, sometimes they're going to use their mind for bad. They're going to do whatever comes to their mind. And some people, they don't have a filter. Some people, they can't control the things that they want to say, or the things they do, and whether it's appropriate or inappropriate or not, they don't know. A lot of people don't know how to master the art of being inappropriate while still being appropriate. All right, it's not for everyone. Some people know how to do certain things. Some people don't know how to do certain things. There are certain people that know how to juggle swords. There are certain people that know how to spit fire out their mouth, and there are certain people who know how to like swallow fire. All right, if you don't swallow fire the right way, you're gonna get burnt. If you don't juggle the sword the right way, you're gonna get cut. There are people who walk on hot coals and walk on fire and all this wild stuff. All right, so if you don't know how to do these things, you're going to get hurt. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So people tend to try to get underneath your skin. Like I said, there are some people that may be joking, just playing around, and it still may be annoying. It still may be bothersome, but it's like, okay, this person really didn't mean anything by saying that. I just don't like it, so I need to fix something with me. Then there are certain situations where people say something, and not only do they leave you having to fix something with yourself, but they got to go fix something about themselves also. So certain people are understanding, certain people aren't. Certain people are cool, certain people are jerks, and it's all according to what that person wants to be. If that person wants to be cool, they'll probably be understanding and hear you out and be like, okay, that bothers you, I'll find another way to mess with you, or I'll find another way to play around with you. I didn't mean to bother you like that. I didn't mean to get on your nerves or say what I said. I didn't mean to behave that way. There are certain people who are cool like that. All right, some people will just leave you alone and probably never joke with you again. But when people try to change your personality, you have to understand that you don't have to change for anyone. If you are a serious kind of person, that's okay. If you take things seriously, that's fine. But also try to be lighthearted. Also don't try to be that serious. But at some point, if you have a serious personality, that's just who you are. It's going to slip out. Just like if the type of personality that they have is going to slip out. All right. Nobody has a perfect personality. But the thing is, you don't want to be a full blown narcissist. All right, it would be narcissistic of me to think that everybody has to be the way that I want them to be, and that we all know that's definitely not the world we live in. Nobody has to be what you want them to be for nothing. Narcissists don't have to stop being narcissists. Demons don't have to stop being demons. But people who play around don't have to stop playing around. We don't want to change people and box people into what we want them to be. You want people to be who they want to be. But if who they want to be and who you want to be is not a good fit, then you guys probably should just not be around each other. Co-workers, family, whoever it is. So the thing is, like, when people play around, there's something that happens. All right, you're either going to get upset over what they say, or you're going to be able to just smooth over it and be like, okay, this person is just kidding. They didn't mean that. But some people, with the things they say, they mean it, and that person meant that. And it's like, yo, you said that, and you meant that, and you tried to hurt me with what you said. So it's a difference between someone being funny and comical and playing around, and someone saying something that is meant to hurt you in the form of a joke, acting like they're playing around. When people say things to try to hurt you in the form of a joke to try to cover it up, that's a whole different ball game right there. People will try to manipulate you into thinking that they're playing, but they're not. Certain things that people talk about is not to be played with. Like, you got somebody joking around about a death in your family. What is that? You have somebody joking around with you about an extreme loss you just had. What is that? You have somebody joking around with you over something that's personal to you. What is that? Like, certain things just aren't meant to be joked about. certain things, if they can make a joke about it and it is something that everybody could laugh at and you don't feel hurt at the end of what they said, that's different. But when people say things and you probably don't even feel hurt with the things that they say to hurt you, but it's just that the thing is, when you're around people who say things that are meant to hurt you, even though it doesn't hurt you, over time you're gonna end up wanting to get up and haul off and hit somebody, because it's only so many times you could let something go. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna let this go, I'm gonna let this go, I'm gonna let this go. And it's like, yo, a lot of this will happen in your own family. Like, you'll find people that you just keep having to let things go, let things go, let things go. And then it's like, you know what, this person wants me to get physical with them because what they say is not meant to be playful. That's meant to try and hurt somebody. So it's not that you're physically hurt by what they say, like, oh, they're trying to hurt me, they said this. It's like, yo, I'm not playing with you and you're not going to be playing with me. So it's best that I just not, I just don't deal with you, because you play to the way you play, you trying to bring something dark out of me. So it's like, you trying to, the old saying, they try to take a good person and turn them into a corrupt person, or turn them into an evil person, and then lift their hands up and be like, what did I do? Like, people do that all the time. And that's why it's good to not have people play with you like that. Because and that's also why it's good to be a serious person, because if you're a serious person, people will be less likely to play with you. And if you don't let people play with you, they probably won't. All right, like, people. So I remember one time I was at a job, and this dude was like, "Oh, you're a." He said something about like how I talk and how it relates to like who I am as a person in my race, and me not being what I look like, and him being blacker than me or something like that. And I just called him out on it. And I said, "Yo, dude," I said, "that ain't it." And you know what I mean? I shut that down. I said, "We not." I said, "We not gonna do that." He's, "Oh, okay, my bad. I apologize." I said, "Nah." I said, "Yeah, okay." we just know that I understand you apologize and you sorry, but I said, we're not gonna be doing that. I said, I'm not gonna be working here next to you where you thinking you could talk to me like that, because it's certain things that set up certain dynamics. When people play with you in certain ways, it's like they're opening Pandora's box. They want to open the door to see how far they could go. So when certain people play with you, it's actually them disrespecting you and seeing how far they could go. You'll know when someone is being playful with you and joking around and being your friend. There's a difference between someone actually playing with you and ha ha he heing, between somebody trying to see how far they could go with you. And a lot of people that aren't close to you, that try to act like they're close to you, that try to be fake with you and try to be fake friends with you, it's only to see how far they can abuse you and how far they can say things that are ignorant. All right, some people only have, you don't think there's people out there with friendships like that, where they have this person come around and they just beat up on them with the things that they say, and that person just takes it because they're that desperate for some friends. That's why I'm always telling you guys, never be that desperate to have people around you, because sometimes, like what I've experienced with certain people, when I was like looking for friends or whatnot, and I wanted to have some friends so bad, people would think they could just talk to me any kind of way. But then I'm like, you know what, this ain't even worth it. So eventually I just stopped dealing with them once I realized what was happening, because I'm like, why do I always feel like I just got like it's something going, I just got hit with a 100 pound weight, 1,000 pound weight after hanging out with certain people. And like, you'll notice when you're around them and other people, it'll be like a disconnect between you and them. People will be having conversations right in front of your face, and they might even be about you. So you have to be careful when people are playing with you. Don't always take things serious. It's okay to be a playful person, but only with people that you're cool with, only with people that you know. Don't be letting people that you just met, you don't know, people in higher positions, people in management, people who've been working there longer than you, people who got a leg up over you, people who you work for, whatever. Don't let people play with you like that, because once they do, if they see they can get too far with you, they're going to take it as far as they want to go. And sometimes when people play with you, they're really not playing. All right, some people, they're your friends and they're cool with you and y'all are buddies, but then you have people who take it just a step too far. And there are a lot of people who ended up in there are a lot of people who ended up dead over stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who ended up in jail over stuff like that. Somebody ends up dead because the person they was playing with done killed them. And that's why you don't play with everybody. They want to know why you're that serious about it. Well, some people put themselves in the situation to find out. So you don't never want to be that serious, but you also don't want to let people play with you. So if you're serious and people are playing with you, just set some boundaries. You got to open up your mouth and let people know, like, you know what, that was inappropriate. That's uncalled for. You're not going to be playing with me like that. I don't know how you play, but where I'm from, nobody plays with me like that. People don't play with each other like that. And people will get the message. And when people get the message, that's a sign of respect. If people fall back and they don't play with you like that, or don't play with you at all, that's a sign of respect. When you have people who continue to play with you, they're trying to get underneath your skin. You have to gauge whether it's something to take that serious or not. When people are playing with you, you're supposed to take it serious because you don't want them to play with you. But it's a difference between just putting on a serious face and letting someone know you're not to be played with versus you having to be like, yo, you got to get in somebody's behind because they're playing with you, and you got to let them know that you ain't serious. Sometimes you got to give people a verbal assault. All right. Instead of the physical assault, sometimes you got to hit people with the verbal assault. I done verbally assaulted quite a few people. And it's, to be honest, quite honest, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I done verbally assaulted people to where I said what I said without saying it and still said what I said with saying it. So it's just really all according to how you're going to handle the situation. But don't go handling a situation where you're going to end up ruining something for yourself just because somebody's playing with you. All right. Somebody might have not been meaning it to be that serious. And sometimes you just might be in a you might be in a bad mood, and you may not just be wanting to be played with right now. But usually people who can't read that are usually those who are doing things. It's usually people who you think people can't read it, but usually people just are doing things because sometimes they see you're in a jacked up mood and they're like, oh, so and so's feeling like crap, I'm gonna go mess with them. People like that, that's the type of people you gotta watch out for. Those are the type of people you do not want playing with you, because those are the type of people that's gonna make you want to wring their neck. All right, when you're not in the mood and people can see that and they're gonna play with you anyway, those are the people who end up getting themselves hurt. All right, those are the people who end up trying to cause hurt and then end up getting hurt. All right, make that make sense. You're gonna try to hurt somebody, and end up getting hurt yourself. I couldn't even get it out. You're gonna try to hurt somebody and end up getting hurt yourself. It's a lot of ends and end up. So some people get it, some people don't. But the people who don't get it, you know, take it serious, but not to the point to where it's like you're out of pocket, you're out of character, you're acting like you're mad or upset. All right, don't ever get upset or that mad to where people can push your buttons or pull your strings to where you getting mad at someone or yelling at someone, because all they're gonna do is sit there and laugh at you. If somebody's saying something to you and you get mad over them, all they're gonna do is point the finger and sit there and laugh. And if they're too scared to do it in your face when you walk away, they're gonna start laughing. So either way, what even if you do scare the bejeebus out of them, they still gonna laugh at you and be like, "Yo, we pissed him off." Even if they are scared of you, they still gonna think you're stupid. So you might as well just, keep your cool and just give them the Denzel, give them the Samuel. All right, give them the Bruce Willis, whatever you gotta give them. All right, give them the Jet Li, give them the Manny Pacquiao, whatever you gotta give them, just so people would just leave you alone and realize that you're not playing, because sometimes you're not playing. All right, not everybody is playing. Some people play around, and and the thing is, some people play around and be serious at the same time. Like, I play around sometimes, but also I'm very serious. So, I play around, but yet I'm serious. But it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So when people do things to you that feel inappropriate with what they say, or little jokes or little comments that they make, just keep your ear open. And if it gets worse, or if it gets more vicious, this person is trying to say something to get a reaction out of you. Usually if somebody's playing around and it's meant to be playful, it's not going to draw a reaction out of you. You're just going to be like, oh, okay, that was stupid, or oh, this person's trying to be funny. But if people say things to try to get a reaction out of you, that's when it's like, okay, I shouldn't deal with this person, because if you continue to do so, they could end up bringing something evil out of you that you either never knew existed or you trying to keep under wraps. And everybody got a dark side. So you just have to keep it under control, and you have to make sure it doesn't get the best of you when people are trying to test you. And sometimes there are those people, they just are bored mentally and they have nothing else to do. They don't know how to use their mind in a way that we feel good about. So, it's just best to just let people be themselves. We can't change people. We if we went around trying to make everyone into what we wanted to be, then we'd be the narcissist, and that ain't us. So rather than change people, if they don't want to change, we just allow them to change on their own. All right, you can't expect a dandelion to turn into a rose every day. Then you come back and look at the dandelion and get mad at it because it's not a rose. You upsetting yourself. A dandelion can't be a rose. A dandelion can only be a dandelion. A rose can only be a rose. Stop expecting people to try to change into something else because it's inconvenient and what they're doing is annoying. I understand it's inconvenient, but I know what's real convenient: getting the hell away from them. So make it convenient for yourself. Don't inconvenience yourself with someone else and their little attitude that they may have, or the little game that they're trying to play, because at the end of the day they're just trying to get underneath your skin. And most people, if they can do that, it's a win for them. All right, some people are narcissistic, and then you just have some people that play around. But either way, if you don't like it, you have to make that decision for yourself. You know what, so and so is cool, but they play too much for me. You ain't I mean, people say that all the time. People don't hate people. People don't have a issue with them, but it's like, yo, they play too much for me. I gotta stay away from that. And if people play too much for you, they don't have to be bad people. They don't have to be a demon or a bad person or a terrible person or somebody that's awful. But they just may not be your cup of tea. And you know what, you might just want to, for the safety of yourself and sanity, you might just want to disassociate. All right, everybody's not for everybody. You don't have to associate with everyone. There are going to be some people that rub you the wrong way. There are going to be some people you rub the wrong way. But that's the thing. People don't have to like people, but they do have to respect you. So if they respect you, then that's one thing. If they don't like you, hey, whatever. You don't have to be liked. But the thing is, if people don't respect you, that's when people have issues. So it's like, you don't have to respect me, but just stay away from me and keep your mouth shut. But when people go trying to play with you and force themselves on you and force the things that they say on you, that's when, you got to set boundaries with people and let people know, like, yo, you got to chill. Like, that's not cool. Nobody's doing that to you. Don't do that to me. All right. So sometimes people, you got to put them in their place and you got to tell them, like, yo, that I wouldn't do that to you. If people will understand, and if you can have a conversation with people, cool. If not, then that's probably not the type of person that you want to associate with, because people want to act hard-headed. People want to be like, oh well, I'm going to be who I want to be, and that's cool. People can be who they want to be and what they want to be, but just not around you. So it's up to you to make the decision of who you choose to joke around with, play around with, and who you choose not to. Me personally, I would only play around or joke around with people that I know I was cool with like that, or I knew I was close to like that. Because you can't just go being friendly like that with everyone, as even though you might be a good friendly person or whatever you want to call it, empath, respectable person. Like, you have to dole that out, you have to dole that out wisely. So it's best for some people to just, probably when you're around other people, just to not say anything or not speak much. So that way, people just won't deal with you too heavily. People who stay to themselves, people who are quiet, people may not like them or they may talk about them, but if you stay quiet and you don't associate with people or talk to them that heavy, then they'll get the message. It is what it is. They'll probably just not deal with you too heavy. All right, but also, when you don't get upset, they're going to get bored. So when people are playing games, it's because they like games, and people like games because they're bored or they need something to do, or this is a way for them to use their mind. But it's like, you're not going to use me as a test subject for your boredom. You're not going to use me as something to get something to get your kicks off with, or as a way of entertainment. And that's really what it is. People out here using other people as a form of entertainment. All right, so they're only entertained by you getting upset. So if you don't get upset, if you don't show them no anger, if you show them that what they're doing is not bothering you, then they're not going to be entertained. And they're going to be like, okay, well, this is boring. Let me go find something else to do. Or let me go mess with somebody else. It's like you got that one family member, and it's like 8 people in the family, and the youngest will mess with the one brother. He won't get nothing out of them. He'll mess with the other one, won't get nothing out of them. Just keep going on down the line until somebody gives in. And it's pretty much the same thing. But that's probably not done out of ill intent. So it's always good to judge wisely and to see whether something is being done out of love and someone just kidding with you, or someone claiming that they're playing around, but really doing something sadistic or something demonic. All right, so that's really it for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. We out.